Hi, my name's Collette Dinnigan. I've recently become an author, but my whole background has been a lot of fashion, textiles. I guess I love to work in colour and proportion, shape, forms, and I find most things intriguing when it comes to the artist's world. You have to be passionate. That's precisely what you have to be, is passion, because it is hard. Whatever you do in life, it's hard work, and if you're passionate about it, it doesn't really seem like work. And I think that's been probably one of the key factors in my life and what I've pursued. I think, for me, it's always been instinct. Been lucky enough to have had the ability to create a lot of what I've done on my own rather than having to employ a team around me. I'm always kind of looking for what's behind the curtain, the unexpected, and trying something different. So from growing up, my mother taught me a lot, and she was very creative and always, I think, she was out on a whim doing different things. And whether it was, I can remember, so my house was filled with art and music, and I think growing up like that, you don't look for it, it's just part of what you do. And so it gives you a huge opportunity, or the door is always open to explore and to live that life rather than looking for it. When I studied, design and fashion and textiles, I got to know how to craft a pattern well and how to cut something out. But at the same time, at night I did a business organisation course. So I think having that balance wasn't necessarily my forte, but it kind of disciplined me to understand where, the incoming and the outgoing, which was really financial. But ultimately, you've got to be very cautious, I think, in how you plan your growth, and also particularly if you're responsible for staff and their families and their ultimately their outgoings as well. I think business knowledge is vital, and as much as I find even now technology, it's the bane of my life. I don't enjoy computers, I don't enjoy spreadsheets. My brain it thinks too quickly. I think in one sense I don't want to triple check. So you need to have an understanding, which is kind of your own instinctual balance sheet in your head. And the business of fashion, it's very interesting. It's only probably in the most recent years, in the last decade, I think people have found it interesting in Australia. Prior to that, employed so many people in the workforce. It wasn't just the designers, it was more, the retail staff, the transport companies, the business of fashion was big. And I think it's only now, relatively recently, that it's being acknowledged in all those different industries of how many people it actually employs. For me, the fashion industry was always about quality, and it was about good design. It was about having a brand that resonated with the customer, but at the same time delivering something that people followed you for, but something new. So there was a lot of change always, and really trends are about change, or something that the mainstream kind of want to pick up, but you always have to be ahead of your game. You need to know where your customer wants to be at. There's a lot of different movable parts to the industry. I think where it is now, though, for me, I was always very mindful of landfill, even back in, and the environment, and I wouldn't work with companies in Germany in particular who would treat velvets with chemicals, and their effluent would be going into rivers. So I was very mindful in my early 20s of who I worked with, and perhaps it was being brought up in New Zealand. We're always about recycling and our environment.